If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more of my content. Also be sure to press the notification button down below, that way when a new video comes out, you'll be notified. If you forget about the commercialism, Christmas time is actually a rather beautiful time. A time to settle down with peace on earth and goodwill to all men. However, in war, that's not the case. War is where two people who really don't know much about each other end up killing each other, and in the end becomes a tragedy. However, there are times when soldiers on each side will put down their weapons and just get along. One of these events was during the early years of the First World War, where we see the famous Christmas Truce. Here, Allied and German soldiers would celebrate Christmas by not killing each other and the cruel tragedy that would come after. But before we get into this bittersweet event, first we need some context. Explaining the start of World War I is one of the most confusing things to ever do. So in the early 20th century, the European powers were competing with each other for influence around the world. One of these countries would be known as Austria-Hungary, which was made up of modern-day Austria, Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, and parts of Italy, Poland, Romania, Serbia, and Ukraine. It made up of a lot of countries, and because of this, there was a lot of ethnic tensions in the empire. One disgruntled Bosnian by the name of Gavrilo Princip, who was part of the extremist group called the Young Bosnians, assassinated Archduke Ferdinand II, who was heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. Furious, Austria-Hungary would declare war on Serbia, who they believed supported the assassination, but Russia, being an ally of Serbia, declared war on Austria-Hungary. But Germany, being an ally of Austria-Hungary, declared war on not only Russia, but France, who was an ally of Russia. In order to take out France, Germany invaded Belgium. However, the United Kingdom, allied of Belgium, declared war on Germany.
And then he will be your enemy, so then you will have to send a robot back!
Yeah, even those who are historians and experts, the First World War was a really preventable event and mostly came from petty squabblings, nationalism, and familial rivalries. No, really, at the time, the Kaiser of Germany, the King of England, and the Tsar of Russia were all cousins. Anyway, many countries believed that the war would end by Christmas, with each side underestimating one thing: the advancement of technology. Since the turn of the century, military weapons have advanced to the point of killing more people. Inventions such as the machine gun, airplanes, and the modern-day artillery cannon will cause mass destruction on both sides. On the Western Front, it would be a stalemate as commanders would use tactics from the 19th century with troops charging at the enemy only for entire platoons to be wiped out. However, on December 24th, 1914, Christmas Eve, something happened. British and German troops stepped into no man's land, but instead of killing each other, they seemed rather happy to see one another. A truce was declared because of the holiday. British and German troops would exchange presents such as cigarettes, food, and alcohol, and tell stories to one another, and even played a game of soccer. Screw you, I don't care if they call it football, I'm American, so it's soccer, with the Germans beating the British 3-2. And later they would sing Christmas carols with each other. The British weren't the only ones to fraternize with the Germans. The French would also have a Christmas Day truce with the Germans as well, with many of them seeing more similarities with each other. And the Belgian soldiers also called for a truce, but this was mainly to send letters to their families. The Belgians didn't have much love for the Germans since Germany occupied Belgium, and didn't help with the news of the atrocities that Germany committed against the Belgians. And even on the Eastern Front, the Russians would have a truce with the German and Austro-Hungarian troops for the holiday. For one day, the war was put on hold. However, the news about the truce was not received well. A lot of commanding officers on both sides were disgusted that their own troops would fraternize with the enemy and forbade any soldier from doing so with the threat of court-martial or even death. Some of the average soldiers were not too fond of this as well, seeing it as treason. One of these soldiers who thought that would happen to be a young Adolf Hitler. The media on both sides tried their best to suppress any information about the truce. For a while, the news was published in then neutral countries such as the United States and Italy. In the United Kingdom, the truce was viewed positively, as many hoped it was a sign that the war was winding down, while in France and Germany, not so much, with French and German newspapers condemning those who took part in the truce. Allied and Central Power governments made an act of treason for anyone to interact with the enemy. Which is a shame that these men who would have been the best of friends, and yet they went back to being the bitterest of adversaries. There were attempts at another truce though. In the spring of 1950, the Germans wanted an Easter truce, but that didn't work out. And later on that same year, there was an attempt for another Christmas truce, but again that failed. However, in 1916 on the Eastern Front, there would be an Easter truce between the Russian and Austro-Hungarian forces, and there would be another Christmas truce between the Russians and the Germans. However, in this case, it was only to fight off a pack of hungry wolves. By 1916, both sides have seen the horrors of war and had so much hatred for each other that no one wanted another Christmas truce. The Christmas Day Truce of 1914 was a glimmer of hope that a wonderful holiday could bring those who were trying to kill each other together. And just for one day, there was peace on earth and goodwill to all men.